Serena Williams, Ashley Graham, Barbra Streisand, Kerry Washington, Neve Campbell, Kristen Schaal, Tilda Swinton, Lindsay Wixon, Shelley Duvall, Adele, Helena Bonham Carter. What do these people have in common? If you said that they are all women, the fashion advertising industry would have to disagree with you. Yes, they are all biologically female, but does that make them women? The answer to that question is more complicated than yes or no. The fashion industry sets trends, and what is in vogue right now, literally and figuratively, is emphasized femininity. The counterpart to hegemonic masculinity, emphasized femininity defines what it means to be a woman in a way that reinforces the patriarchal status quo, treating them as objects. To be feminine, there's a clear set of ideals which women must live up to. They must be childlike and innocent, physically frail and vulnerable, and sexual objects intended for the male gaze. The women in fashion advertisements are infantilized, characterized as, quote, generally passive, childish, and withdrawn, end quote. Since the days of the Titanic, when the call was for women and children to board lifeboats at the same time, women have been regarded as the equals of children, despite the fact that their age makes them inherently superior. One way to achieve this goal is to choose models with wide eyes, the doe eye effect that looks similar to the eyes of children. The November 2018 Vogue cover star, Claire Foy, stands out because of her large blue eyes. One advertisement is for a product that offers to bring the sparkle of youth back to women's eyes, featuring a model whose wide eyes and thin jawline make her appear childish. Another advertisement goes so far as to actually feature a child, 17-year-old Rowan Blanchard, a clear indication that youthfulness is the standard. None of the advertisements in that issue of Vogue featured an older woman. They were all big-eyed, wrinkle-free beauties. The damsel in distress trope is vital to emphasize femininity. Women must appear vulnerable and weak, whether it is so that men can save them or dominate over them. Often, this is achieved through the ritualization of subordination, which, quote, relies on positions that subtly demean the female subject, such as showing the subject lying on her side or back, smiling in a ritualistically exaggerated manner, or assuming awkward stances with arms and legs thrust upward or to the side of the picture frame, sometimes in midair, end quote. Many advertisements feature women laying down, stretched out with their stomachs vulnerable. This Dior Ultra Rouge lipstick advertisement, featuring Natalie Portman, has her curled up in a ball, with her knees tucked in as though she's trying to make herself small and shielded. Her eyes hold a vacant gaze, almost staring into the camera. All of these advertisements portray women as weak. Women are also frequently portrayed as sex objects intended to appeal to men. These models must fit the criteria of, quote, long slim legs, thin waists, and generous breasts, end quote, to be sexually provocative. Some advertisements use a likely false performance of bisexuality to attract the male gaze. This means featuring women sharing intimate moments. Others are more overtly sexual. This one features a model in a vulnerable posture intended to guide the viewer's gaze to her private areas. She appears physically wet, another way to be provocative. What do the people in all of these magazine advertisements have in common? They aren't really true women either, just masquerading as women according to the fashion industry's standards. While they are beautiful and the perfect depiction of emphasized femininity, it is an appearance that is impossible for them to achieve in reality. Quote, nowadays, both traditional mainstream media and much of the social media seem to privilege a narrow feminine beauty ideal that is defined not only by a thin body, but also by other beauty-related attributes, such as attractive facial features, flawless complexion, well-styled hair, etc., most often photoshopped to an unachievable perfection, end quote. The ideal woman does not exist outside of media, and in particular outside of advertisements. So, why aren't the women in the introduction, by the fashion industry standards, true women? Maybe they look too mature or too old, like Barbra Streisand and Helena Bonham Carter. Perhaps they didn't appear frail and vulnerable, like Serena Williams and Adele. Maybe they weren't overtly sexualized, like Kristen Schaal and Shelley Duvall, or conventionally attractive, like Tilda Swinton and Lindsay Wixon. But what does it say about Western society if a female isn't a woman simply because she doesn't service men or prop up the patriarchy? Why should womanhood be defined by men? There's an easy answer to that. It shouldn't.